Recording in progress.
For the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District for Thursday, April 24, 2025. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes. Director Sailors.
Present.
Director Gould. Present. Director Stark.
Here.
Director Wood.
Present.
Director Costa.
Here.
Director Clark.
Here.
Director Rice.
Here.
Director Jones.
Here.
Director Weber is absent this evening, and he let me know that ahead of time. Also, our attorney, John Lavra, is online on Zoom.
Thank you very much. Director Gould, would you lead the flag salute, please?
My pleasure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll start with the Metro Cable announcement. This meeting is being recorded. It will be cablecast on Metro Cable 14 and available for viewing at metro14live.saccounty.gov at 2 o'clock on Sunday and again at 6 o'clock on Monday the 28th on Metro Channel 14. Once posted, this meeting is also can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/MetroCable14. Right now is the public opportunity to discuss matters within the jurisdiction of the district, including matters on or not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
Yes, I have two speaker cards. The first is from Roger Mitchell.
Outstanding. Good day, Mr. Mitchell. How are you? Welcome.
Good evening, directors. My name is Roger Mitchell, retired from this wonderful district. I'm here tonight to ask your permission. This magazine, I've shown it to some of you. This is called the Horseless Carriage Gazette. I'm a member of the National Club as well as two local clubs. They have a program, which I believe you have in front of you, a page from this book of a 100-year-old vehicle that can have a plaque to be put on that vehicle. So I've done all the paperwork. We have the plaque. So with the district's help and in the near future, we'd like to have a program where this is put on Rio Linda's first fire truck called Old Betsy. In talking to some of the directors before the meeting, Director Gould, I appreciate your comments. Director Sailors, I appreciate your comments. I think we can have a big celebration. I can get some antique cars there, and let's get some publicity for Metro Fire. Have the press there, the television there, and I've had a conversation this evening with the PIO, so he's going to be working, and I'm going to be helping him. So I'd like to bring this up and show you the plaque. You get a little better look at it. Please be careful on the back. There's two little prongs, so I don't want anybody. So am I allowed to come up and show the board?
That would be great. Thank you.
State's evidence.
That's cool. Thanks.
I would also like to give a special thanks to Director Rice. He's helping me and talking about this. This is for the engine, but that station out there, we want to rebuild that and make it a museum for Metro Fire. And with the help from Director Rice, getting us a couple of more of letters of support from the president, he is of California, and then getting one from the national, that'll be a great help. So you and I worked together for a long time, Director Rice, so thank you for that help. So I'm prepared to answer any questions you might have about this plaque program, the 100-year program, or the station.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Mitchell?
Circle on your calendar, October the 4th. That's our fundraising dinner this year to raise funds for the restoration of Rio Linda's second fire engine, number 2. And I don't have the tickets yet, but I'll be back to talk about that. So anyway, circle that date for now. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Appreciate all you do to keep this memory alive of the old engines. Thank you. All right, we have another speaker.
Yes, I have another speaker card from Joseph, sorry if I ruined this last name, Pastor? Pastor.
Good evening, Board of Directors. My name is Joe Pastore, President of the California Fire Mechanics Academy. We've been overdue coming to see you folks, coming up on 25 years working with you folks, and just want to go over some stuff with you and some stats, and it goes very deep. Like I said, good evening. I'm Joe Pastore, the California Fire Mechanic President. The California Fire Mechanics joined forces with Sac Metropolitan Fire District in the late 90s, early 2000s. And we've been partners ever since. We are a small nonprofit volunteer association with 9 board members and 2 staff in our office. The California Fire Mechanics was established in 1970. This is our current year of our 55th anniversary. And we hold the 2 mechanic academies a year, the one in the north, which is coming up next week, and with your facility. The second one is in the fall at Riverside, down at the Ben Clark Training Center. We are currently finishing, this is a major part that we just went through a revision. It took from 2007 to 2021 to get this new revision started. The fire mechanics are transitioning from fire mechanic 1 level to EVT, emergency vehicle technicians, and we're in our 4th year of that revision right now. Next year, we will finish that up, and we're very proud of that and the labor that went into getting that through the state fire training at Cal Fire. Yearly, we get up to, in our heyday, we were up to 500 students a year with one academy. Now that we've done 2, it's dwindled down a little bit, but we still maintain about 425 between the north and the south, and that's a good number. We did some stats recently from state fire training, and we wanted to know how many fire mechanics we had in the state. There's currently 500 plus fire mechanics that we have listed at state fire training. The Sac Metro Fire Mechanics Shop, I can't say enough about. From the early 90s to this day, the support we get from them, they're there to help us move our trailers, they're there to help us load stuff, and Shay and his crew is phenomenal, and we cannot say enough for them. Give them a little round of applause for those guys. They are there for us day and night, and we appreciate that. They just got us some fire trucks today. We'll be using this next week for training. So this training is invaluable. The support from your administrative staff. With COVID hitting in 2021, we lost our convention center over there at the MCC. You guys have stepped up and helped us out, and we use your facility here throughout a couple of fire stations, and we make it work. Not fun being spread out, but we get the job done. But without your administrative staff, we would not be able to do that. And I got to thank you guys for that. So your support going on 23 plus years is invaluable to us, like I said, and we want to go for another 23. We watched a few years ago, you guys made a video about our training. And it is one of a unique kind in this nation. And you guys need to be very, very proud of that. And they have them in other states, and they're EVTCC, but no one trains to the level we do and the week long that we do. So you guys are giving us a chance to give the mechanics of this state a good opportunity to be the best they can be. We take pride in being the oldest fire mechanic in existence in the United States. And that's something we're very proud of, just like the gentleman was talking about with the fire truck over there. We'd love to have that fire truck come at our vendor show and stand by there. I'd love to have that. So with that, I'd like to express our gratitude from our board of directors to you. And if you'd like to meet us, we'd love to talk to you. There's a vendor show coming up next week on Thursday in the afternoon. You guys are welcome. It's at the Marriott Hotel. You're always welcome. You guys, and if you have any questions for me, go through Shay, and I would love to sit down and do more of a one-on-one with you guys. I'll leave you with this. We are a nonprofit, and I just told the chief before the meeting started, if we can help you guys in any way whatsoever, get some funds for the Zinfandel training by using our name as one of the only you have in the state, we would love to write a letter for you in support of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pastore. Just before you go, the event next week, the academy next week, what are the dates of it? Is it all week, Monday to Friday, or?
It's going to be all week. We start Monday, and be classrooms here, and we're spread out your station 62, and then here, and then we're using station 97, station 68, and your apparatus, a couple of your apparatus. So it.
You up at McClellan too?
No, since the COVID, and I know Shay would love to have us at the shop, and we would love to be at the shop. It's just the lag time from going back and forth. There is one class we tried to do last year for ARF, for the crash truck, and we didn't get enough students sign up. So we're on this side of town, and we're going to be at the Station 97 this time at the airport, and then we're at OES, Cal OES, and then we're at your Station 62 mostly, and right here, and then the sheet metal workers right up here at the welders. We're spread out. That's what we don't like, and if we can ever get some funds, we're saving money to try and get to one spot, but you guys are more than welcome. If you want a tour, we can give you the phone number, and I'll be glad to walk you around and show you the classes one-on-one and give you up to date what we're doing.
Marnie, maybe you can get that information and make sure we all get it in case we can get it in our schedules to get out and see a day or two, please. All right.
And with that, in closing also, we have a gift for every one of you, a little coin and a memorabilia coins, so you can have it in remembrance of us. And once again, I'll leave a card with her. And yeah, if you guys want to meet with us, I'd love to show you what's going on.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we have attendees online. If you're wishing to make a public comment, please use the raise your hand feature. Additional public comments. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. We will move on to the consent calendar. Do we have any questions or comments on the consent?
Chair, I make a motion, we adopt consent.
I've got a motion and a second.
Director Saylors.
Aye.
Director Gould.
Aye.
Director Stark.
Aye.
Director Clark.
Aye.
Director Rice.
Aye.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Costa.
Aye.
President Wood.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Great, thank you. Moving on to presentation items. We have a presentation from Amarok Electrified Security Fence Systems. I've got down here Nick Abdis and Keith Koneko. I apologize if I messed up your names.
Good evening, Chair Wood, members of the Metro Fire Board. My name is Nick Avdis. I'm with the law offices of Avdis and Cucci on behalf of Amarok. Amarok is an electrified security fence contractor with operations all over the United States. With me is Keith Koneko, as you mentioned, the Amarok representative who will be giving you the presentation today. We're here really to talk about a policy that the Metro Fire District has implemented that's significantly impacting businesses and property owners, and asking for guidance of your board in providing some relief on that regulation. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Keith Koneko, and we'll get a little bit more into details, and then happy to do, obviously, question and answer here today. Thank you again for the time on the agenda. This is a very important issue, and we appreciate the responsiveness of our request.
All right. Good evening, Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District Board members. My name is Keith Koneko with Amarok. But first of all, I would certainly like to start this presentation by first thanking you for your service as well as your leadership for the communities that you serve. I too am a Sacramento resident and certainly appreciate all the services that first responders provide. So thank you very much. But again, I'm from Amarok, and we represent a perimeter security company, but I'm also here representing numerous local businesses in your district that are requesting this particular security technology. And this evening, we bring to you an issue that has had an unfortunate long history of dialogue and debate that is actually materially impacting businesses, not only financially, but their ability to effectively serve their communities, as well as even provide a safe place for their employees. At the end of this meeting, it's my hope that the board will provide leadership and direction in the matter, and the outcome will be an efficient and feasible pathway to finally allowing businesses to secure their properties and protect their employees in a timely manner. But before we jump into the relevant issues, I feel it's important to introduce the technology in terms of the history, where it is installed, and how it operates. So we'll follow along here. As Mr. Avdis has mentioned, we are nationwide as a company, thousands of installations across the nation. Today, more than 1,500 installations in the state of California. My key point for saying that is just for you to understand this technology is not new to California, and it is not new to Sac Metro Fire. We've been installing these systems for a number of years, and again, many businesses in the district are currently utilizing the technology. Just understand the use case for this technology. It is specifically to secure assets in an outdoor yard. Items of value that are not able to be brought into a secured building, that are left out into a yard, that unfortunately are targeted by criminals, and it could be freight, it could be equipment, construction materials, even government vehicles. CAL FIRE utilizes this technology to secure their vehicular assets. PG&E is another one to secure utility infrastructure. This is a commonly used technology that's being used across the state as well as the nation. Also to note too, that there in 2024, Assembly Bill 2371, authored by Assembly members Juan Carrillo and Heath Flora, passed a bill which amended Civil Code Section 835, specifically allowing the installation of this particular security technology statewide in industrial, manufacturing, and heavy commercial type zoning zoning uses. But as we kind of fold in a little narrow focus here on your jurisdiction, there are numerous local businesses that need this security. And at present, there's 29 businesses that have been waiting for almost probably upwards of, actually now it's more than 2 years. So let's move forward here real quick. The problem, other security measures don't work. That's why these businesses seek an electrified security fence technology to keep criminals off their property. But I would like to kind of explain to you what this technology is. Some of you may not fully understand what it is, so I want to provide an introduction to you before we talk about the issues at hand. There's 4 critical elements to the technology. There's a deterrence element. There's warning signage required per state law as well as the safety regulations. There's also a defense element. It's the actual security fence itself, which is a strong kind of defense mechanism to keep and deter criminals from entering a property. But there's sophistication also built into the system, a detection element. And that detection element communicates with a monitoring operator as well as the business, and that can initiate deployment by law enforcement. So it's a very sophisticated system. But first things first, let's address safety. Okay, first things first, this is a medically safe technology. And I'll further back it up on a successive slide as well. But obviously, there's always going to be warning signage required per the safety standards as well as state law. Every 30 feet, there must be prominent warning signage there to alert any criminal and the general public that there is an electrified security fence behind the perimeter barrier. So let me clarify. This particular technology is always installed on the interior of a property and behind an existing fence or wall. It is not exposed to the public. No one can inadvertently walk up and touch it. You actually have to make a concerted effort, intentional effort to actually come in contact with this particular technology. Now, let's dive a little deeper into safety. Number one, it's 12-volt DC powered. It's not connected to grid power or mains power. 12-volt DC battery, same battery in your boat, car, that's what powers the system. Practically speaking, what makes it safe is the pulse. It's pulse technology. Every 1.3 seconds, it sends a 10 millisecond pulse through the wires. So the best way to think about it is it pulses at this frequency. Tick, tick, tick. So again, to clarify, it is not continuous current. That's what makes this technology medically safe. And how does it feel, you're probably wondering? I unfortunately have had to demonstrate it a few times just to assure whomever that it was not a harmful technology. Yeah, get your attention. It really is something you don't want to do again, but it's basically like a strong static shock. You feel it and you're off and you're like, ooh, don't want to do that again. But to clarify, us as Amarok, we didn't design and engineer the safety specification. This is governed by the world's foremost experts in biomedical engineering and as well as electrical safety. And the parent safety standard is IEC 60335-2-76. That parent standard was adopted nationally by ANSI and ASTM, as well as our technology itself. We've had it tested by a nationally recognized testing laboratory, certified and listed. So this is not an arbitrary standard that was developed by Amarok. These standards were actually codified and regulated both nationally and internationally, as well as enacted into law, which is California Civil Code Section 835. But once again, it's more than just an electric fence. There's sophistication built in. The state of California deems this technology as an alarm system. Like our company itself, we're licensed as an alarm company operator by the Bureau of Security Investigative Services. There's a detection element. A monitoring operator monitors all these systems while activated and can detect if a particular site has had a potential breach. So what occurs then is if a potential breach occurs or there's an alarm event, it calls the monitoring operator. The monitoring operator can get a signal as to like, okay, property may have been breached. They then go down a call list and call the facility manager to verify at 2 a.m. in the morning, like, hey, we just detected a breach. Is there a verified crime in progress? On the one case, it could be, whoops, late night delivery truck driver came in, set off a false alarm. Don't call law enforcement. Law enforcement appreciates that. That way they're not responding to false alarms. Verification is required. On the other end of the spectrum, hold on. I see on my cameras, I got 6 individuals running through my property. They're not supposed to be there. That warrants a verified response. Law enforcement then will be deployed to the site, but also there's always intelligence built in as well, is because it can detect where on the property the potential breach occurred, so they know what side of the property the suspects entered the property. And as along with camera technology, as we all know, it provides intelligence to law enforcement, whether it's one individual roaming the property or a gang of 10 criminals. That's going to warrant a different level of response by law enforcement. This is an important slide because this is kind of the topic of a lot of our discussion and issue, is existing gate detail. How is this technology, security technology, how does it interface with a gate? First of all, historical point. We have numerous existing installations that were approved by Sac Metro without the requirement of a click-to-enter motorized automated gate system and ancillary conditions. Click-to-enter is the main discussion point for this presentation, but let's continue on. Installation on existing gates does not add an additional gate or barrier to access a property through said existing gates. Okay? Want to understand, make sure you understand, it does not add like an electrified gate in addition to the standard gate. It actually, as you will see in the photo, it's affixed to the particular gate itself via insulated brackets. The gate itself is not electrified. It's insulated from the actual wires that are attached on the interior of the gate. But also key points, the installation does not expand or alter the function and the use of the gate. Okay, as well as the operative entry into a gate is the same whether there's an electrified security fence system installed on property or not. It's the same means of access into a property. As we all know, for first responders, access is a key focus point, as well as priority to make sure that they can respond to a site in a timely manner. Associated with any gate entry required by first responders, and these systems have always have had a knock switch installed to make sure that first responders can deactivate the electrified security fence system prior to entry into a property. That has happened in the past prior to 2023, and obviously, and per state law, can continue. Here's just some sample photos. The actual fence itself is quite visually transparent. Again, it's basically a fence behind a fence. Again, on the interior of the property, warning signage, 20 horizontal strands of wire, up to 10 feet tall. Okay, I'm going to dive into some historical facts in the present day issue and the main reason why we are here. Again, prior to year 2023, we had numerous approvals, by Sac Metro Fire without any extraneous conditions applied to the approvals. Okay, the main thing was the NOx. They wanted to make sure that there was a NOx switch associated with the installation, and of course there was. Then in year 2023, truthfully not sure what happened or what changed on that January 1st of 2023. We had no reports of any issues or concerns, safety issues, but at that point, there began an imposition of conditions on approvals for this particular security technology. Sac Metro Fire cited a county gate and barrier standards and basically tried to apply that to our customer sites who had existing gates. County gate and barrier standards applies to new gates, new development, but it's used and continues to be used as kind of a reference point to say that, well, even an existing electrified security fence system, an electrified security fence system being installed on a property with existing gates need to be brought up to county and gate barrier standards. But again, the key point is that even lawfully installed gates are now being required to install this click-to-enter branded automated motorized gate system. And that was brought to the attention of staff that your standard, as well as even the county code, didn't support what was being required. Then in 2023, staff amended FPS 27, Fire Prevention Standard 27, in the scope of that standard to explicitly call out the requirements for all gates to be modified to be electrically operated for entry and exit, meaning a click-to-enter type system. Again, I've already mentioned this. Then we fast forward to September of 2024. Assembly Bill 2371 was enacted into law, and it was essentially a permit streamlining act to address the issue of, number one, issuing approvals quicker and also not conditioning the installations. But there's a section from the law just describing the importance of why this was enacted into law, and actually as an urgency statute. It went into effect the day that it was signed, September 14th. But again, the main issue here, 29 businesses under Sac Metro's jurisdiction are currently affected by this impasse in staff policy. The reality is the expense, the ancillary expense to install this security technology is difficult for a business to swallow. And some of you may be wondering, kind of jumping ahead here in my bullet points, but the quoted cost to install a click-to-enter gate system, some of our customers actually sought out, contractors to find out what it's going to cost, $25,000 to $30,000 per gate. And some properties have multiple gates, like a well-known luxury car dealership. They have multiple entry gates, and it would have been in the neighborhood of $60,000 to $100,000, removing their existing gate and bringing in this click-to-enter system just to get a security system that costs $1,000 or $2,000 a month for service. So, but again, statement of facts here, really, again, I want to belabor this, but again, this technology and what these businesses are proposing, they're not proposing to put in a new gate. Again, the county standard focuses on new gate development. These businesses have had their existing gate for decades. Obviously, they're authorized at some point, years ago or decades ago. Again, there's no change in function to the existing gates. Again, no secondary gates are being added. But again, the reality is this is just too cost prohibitive for businesses to accept, to basically just secure their properties. Again, Civil Code Section 835 provides for a NOx deactivation device. Sac Metro Fire must authorize, or rather approve the order, the NOx order. So a part of these installations, certainly we request that Sac Metro immediately start approving the NOx order, so the NOx company will send and ship the devices to the property itself for the installation of the security system. But here's a couple other main concerns, and this is to highlight. We searched far and wide. FPS 27, we did not find any record of it going through the public process. There was an amendment to the FPS 27 in November of 2023, and from what we found, we didn't see it came before all of you for a review and discussion, because I'm certainly sure that businesses would want to come to that meeting to express concern of having to pay $30,000, $60,000, $90,000 worth of gate improvements just to get a security system. And the last key point is, and especially since Assembly Bill 2371 was passed in September last year, hundreds of new installations have gone in. So that time frame, as well as even decade prior, no other jurisdiction has ever required this type of condition applied to a security system. So our requests are really, please, withdraw FPS 27, and certainly, should Sac Metro Fire want to continue with a requirement for a NOx device to be associated with these systems, please approve the NOx orders, because the NOx company requires that those orders be approved by Sac Metro Fire. So thank you for your time. I understand this is a little bit lengthy, but this is a critical issue that, again, numerous local businesses are really waiting for this impasse to pass so that they can secure their properties. Fundamentally, this is about people. And these businesses, they're constantly saying, this is more than just protecting material assets. I need to ensure that when my workers show up in the morning, that they don't get jumped, stabbed, exposed to disgusting biohazards, just meaning criminal activity on the property, doing nefarious things. They just said enough is enough. And they've been waiting since January 1 of 2023. So thank you very much. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaneko. Do we have any questions?
Mr. Chair, I just have,
Director
as a
Gould?
matter of process, now that we've had this presentation, my assumption is that we will ask staff to then present something that talks about the same issue moving forward, so that we can hear both sides of a conflict, so that we can then, as policymakers, work towards a resolution that benefits both groups. Is that what I'm expecting, Mr. Chair?
That's a fair assumption, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any other thoughts or comments?
No, I concur with fellow director.
So, Chief, presume we will get somebody to come up here and give us staff's side of things. We can get a intelligent conversation going.
We absolutely can. We'll analyze where we've come so far and where we need to go, if there's any gaps in the process currently. I know there'll be some follow-up on policy or potential policy, and I know we've had some legal advice on this already, on whether it needs to be policy or not. I think it still is in question, but we can certainly bring that information forward before the board as well as you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Can I add something just
certainly.
briefly? So on that last point, so thank you, Chief. I think, we're here tonight, and really the question before you is a policy question. Yes, we've had extensive communications with your legal counsel on legal issues. We have parked those aside for now and focused strictly on the policy issue of whether requiring existing gates where they have the electrified security system mounted to require that those gates be converted to click-to-enter gates. That is a policy question and not a legal question. I just want to highlight that. That's the important question.
Understood. I think that's understood as well. So thank you. Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to our action item. Marnie, we have a resolution you're going to present.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. So in February, as you're aware, the board appointed Director Jones, Director Sailors, and Director Stark to an ad hoc committee to consider the qualifications and selection criteria for the members of the Measure O Independent Citizens Oversight Committee, the ICOC, and bring a recommendation back to the board. We're doing that now. Staff met with the ad hoc committee a couple times to develop the Measure O Citizens Oversight Committee Charter, which outlines the committee's purpose, responsibilities, structure, recruitment and appointment process, governance and operations, and support and resources. Also, we developed an implementation timeline for the formation of the committee. The timeline ensures that the committee will be in place and onboarded in advance of an intended revenue of the audited financial report for bond expenditures made in year one, which is fiscal year 25-26. The ad hoc committee and staff recommend that the board of directors adopt the resolution adopting the Independent Citizens Oversight Committee charter and authorize the clerk of the board, myself, to advance the formation of the committee accordingly. Unless there's any questions.
Do we have any
Entertain a
questions
motion.
for Ms. Rittberg? I want to say thank you to our committee, our ad hoc committee, for all the time and energy you guys put into this thing. It's a very thorough and comprehensive recommendation or resolution, so appreciate everything you guys have done. Director Stark?
Yeah, I would just like to I'd just like to thank staff for the work that they've done on our behalf and making our vision a reality. And they did a lot of work, and we appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Any other thoughts or comments? If not, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move staff recommendation.
Got a motion, I got a second from Director Stark.
Roll. Director Sailors.
Aye.
Director Gould.
Aye.
Director Stark.
Aye.
Director Clark. Director Rice.
Aye.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Costa.
Aye.
President Wood.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. The resolution is adopted.
Thank you very much. Director Jones?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to reiterate my thanks to staff for their great support, the same as Director Stark. It's an acknowledgement well-deserved.
Standing. All right, we'll move on to reports. President's report, I don't have anything at this time. Fire Chief's report.
Good evening, directors, colleagues, and members of the public. My name is Tyler Wagaman, Deputy Chief, filling in for Fire Chief House this evening with your Fire Chief's report. Two items to discuss first are two new hires. And the first is going to be Harmon Kalon. He is actually assigned to our communications division. He'll be working as our new communication technician 2. Harmon, if you'd like to come forward and introduce yourself, you're more than willing. Take the podium.
That quick stand up and sit down isn't gonna fly.
Yeah, I wasn't sure the proper procedure.
Welcome.
Well, hello. I just want to just grateful and thank you for taking me on board to be part of the team. And it seems like you guys need me, so I'm happy to be part of it. So, yeah. And then, appreciate that. And then, per the email, they said it wasn't a big ordeal, but telling my mom that, so my family's here as well,
Awesome.
So.
We're very excited to have you. You've got an excellent department. You're going to join with an excellent leader at it. So any other comments or thoughts? Best to you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
For members of the public, as a communications technician, being a special district, Harmon brings forward some very unique skill sets. Because we're a special district and we have our own fleet division, we do all of our own installations. So all of our emergency equipment that go into our vehicles takes a certain specialty. And he brought that to the table, and we hired him, that on the coattail of Measure O money with the influx of a lot more vehicles coming. We wanted to make sure that we bolster our staff, and then we have the staff on board to make sure that vehicles don't stack up when they start to arrive, and we can actually get stuff installed out to the field and into service as quickly and efficiently as possible. The next new hire is Jason Wanner. He's assigned to our logistics division. He will be working as a logistics technician effective April 1st.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself. I'm Jason Warner, newly hired logistics technician for the Metro Fire Logistics Division and Sacramento native. Grateful for the opportunity to make a positive impact in the logistics department.
Great. Thank you. Do we have any comments or thoughts? Or?
Welcome.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least is a recent appointment to the position of fire marshal. Amy Nygren, who has worked as a deputy fire marshal over the last couple of years, has filled some pretty big seats, not only as a deputy fire marshal, but in the vacancy of Chief Law leaving, filled in those shoes as well. And we all knew how hard of a worker Chief Law was, and how massive those shoes became in that current position. And rest assured, Amy is the right person. It was the right pick. She brings the knowledge and experience over 23 plus years in Metro Fire. I have no doubt that she will continue bringing huge successes to our community risk reduction division, as well as our fire investigations unit. And to memorialize this recent appointment, again effective April 21st, I would like to bring her forward, pin her badge, and give her the oath of office. All right, Amy, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Amy Nygren, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
No, thank you for the opportunity. All harassment.
President Wood, that concludes the fire chief's report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that report, Chief, and congratulations, Chief Magnan. Moving on, excuse me, to the operations report. Deputy Chief Mitchell, welcome. Good evening.
President Wood, good evening, directors, Chief Wagaman, colleagues, and members of the public. I'm going to yield my time to Chief Johnson for the Shift Commander Spotlight.
Welcome, Chief. Good day.
Directors, howdy, how are you? Chief Wagman, colleagues, members of the public, Mike Johnson, the B Shift Commander. Happy to be here for the Shift Commander Spotlight. One of our favorite things to do is to recognize accomplishments or milestones of some of our members that are here. So I'm going to do that, just that thing tonight. I'm fortunate to have one of my battalion chiefs on the B team who celebrated 20 years of service, Ryan Pittman, if you can come up here. This was in late February. I have not been on duty for a board meeting since then, so we're going to celebrate it tonight. We're not going to let that pass. So I've obviously known Ryan from the start of his career, and unfortunately, I didn't get to work around him too much. Never on the same shift, never in the same house. But I'll tell you, in the last 2 to 3 months that I've been in this position, I've gotten to know Ryan as a leader in this organization. He is second to none. He takes the idea of servant leadership to the next level. He's somebody that I have become, I count on him a lot, bouncing ideas off him. He's an honest individual, and the members in B7 on the B shift are in really good hands. So, Ryan, congratulations on your 20 years, and thank you for being a mentor to me.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to all my mentors throughout the last 20 years, both line personnel and support services that have helped me get to where I'm at, guided me in the right direction. Director Rice, feels like just yesterday I was working with you on an engine. It's gone by in a blink of an eye, and it's been a great 20 years. So thank you.
Congratulations, and thank you.
And that concludes the operations report, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Deputy Chief Mitchell? No? Thank you so much. Appreciate this, Chief. Like these spotlights. Those are great. Moving on for the administrative report. Out of class, Deputy Chief Fiorico, welcome.
Good evening, President Wood, members of the board, Chief Wagaman, colleagues and guests. Joe Fiorica, Acting Deputy Chief of Administration with your admin branch report. I'll get it right eventually. A couple quick highlights of some stuff that has gone on in the admin branch. As far as our Community Relations Division, on April 2nd, in collaboration with crews from stations 25 and 26, the American Red Cross, CRRD, and CERT, they engaged with 110 homeowners at the Sierra Meadows Mobile Home Park. During that time, they installed 234 smoke alarms, 71 carbon monoxide alarms, and distributed 68 night lights for fall prevention. It was a good event. We had a good turnout of folks out there. Director Weber joined the group that I know of and spent some time out there assisting, so that was good. They recently distributed the spring newsletter, Metro Fire Scene, so it should have been in your email, and they're looking for feedback or content ideas from the board as they move forward. And they are also in the process of accepting 80 kids to attend fire camp, which is scheduled for June 17th through 20th. And we're looking forward to another successful year with that. Within the Human Resources Division, we're in the process of doing the captain's promotional process. The written exam was on April 11th, and they'll be moving forward to the assessment center May 5th through 8th. Human Resources is also busy with backgrounds with about 35 backgrounds in process currently for a variety of positions. And on this last Monday, Fire Academy 25-1 started with 14 recruits, 2 of which are laterals. The rest of that class is all from with our MMP ranks. And I believe this is the first time, other than if we hadn't had the laterals, that we would have had an all MMP class. So that's exciting. The Finance Division. Finance has been busy preparing next year's preliminary budget. As you're aware, the budget is comprised of 3 major components: wages and benefits, services and supplies, and capital projects. I'll quickly highlight some of the work happening in these areas. Wages and benefits. For the purposes of the budget, wages and benefits include new position requests. As you will recall, a couple of meetings ago, Jeff Fry did a presentation on the position request forms and the associated process. Following that presentation, you, the board, provided 2 directions to staff. The first was to stop the strategic planning effort and focus on this year's staffing needs, and the second was to include labor in the discussions. Tonight, I want to update you on that process and where we are. The position request form was created to request new positions, consider reclassifications, or evaluate adjustments to compensation. Budget managers submitted requests for 69 positions. 30 of those positions are carryovers from fiscal year 24-25. The total estimated cost of these requests is about $18 million. Staff has met with labor, and jointly we looked at the requests and prioritized them. As the process moves towards final recommendations for inclusion in the fiscal year 25-26 budget, there will be continued discussion, including additional meetings with labor that will lead up to the preliminary budget presentation to the Finance Committee on May 22nd, and a full board presentation being made on June 12th. On the services and supply side, the executive team has met with all of the budget officers, and the finance team is compiling the budget request for further discussion. As far as capital projects, at the last board meeting, Jeff and Aaron presented the preliminary capital project list. Now the focus will turn to preparing the legal documents for the first Measure O bond issuance, and the project team has been assembled, and they continue to move forward with the process. That's the end of my report, unless you have any questions or comments.
Thank you very much, Chief. Before I turn it over to my colleagues, the newsletter, you asked for feedback. You mentioned the board feedback, but that's open to anyone in the district, right, that gets it?
Yes.
Okay. You also said that they are looking for feedback. Who's they? Who should we direct
I'm
that
sorry,
feedback to?
community relations.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone over there in particular?
Brenda, I think,
Brenda.
is primarily the
it's
main point
Brenda.
of contact.
All right. And appreciate all the work you guys did, shifting gears on the fly and addressing those comments and questions on the budget. That's a lot of work, but I appreciate you guys putting the effort in and the time. Look forward to that result. So anything further from my colleagues? Director Rice.
Chief Farica, great report. Thank you. Very much appreciated. And it took me a minute to figure out, man, this guy's looking really sharp tonight. Very aerodynamic. I figured it out.
All right.
You're looking
that
good.
was what caused the stutter
Really?
earlier. Yeah, you got to get used to speaking without the mustache.
I'll grow it back if it makes you feel better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. All right, moving on to support services, Deputy Chief Wagaman.
Good evening again, directors. Tyler Wagman, Deputy Chief of Support Services with your support report. Starting off with Fleet, I'm happy to report that 4 new squads have arrived at our Fleet Division, a long await. And those are going to be first responder units out in the field here very soon. 2 medic remounts, so 2 new ambulances, 2 support vehicles to help our Air Operations Division, and 2 support vehicles for the newly formed Safety, Health, and Wellness Division. Under IT and comms, 2 of those squads have already been upfitted with their communications equipment and are one step closer to getting out in the field. They're starting to roll out 60 new mobile data tablets. This is to swap out our computers that we have in our rigs and move to a tablet-based device. And this is the communication equipment between the unit and our dispatch center. And they're also received some new server equipment with installation occurring here very soon. Under facilities, in conjunction with IT, they're in the process of upgrading the AV equipment in Training Room 2 to be consistent with Training Room 1. We're just across the hall. The station privacy project is still underway, and they just completed Station 55. The work has begun to rehab the Zinfandel gate, and I know most of you have been out to Zinfandel. That gate is massive. It's not a gate you want to open manually during a windstorm. So we're in the process of getting that fixed just before construction really starts to take off there. We know that gate's going to get used quite a bit, and we want to keep that area secure and safe. A job walk for janitorial services occurred a couple of weeks ago with 12 vendors participating in the process. We have received 10 RFPs back from those vendors. Evaluations are going to occur next week, and we hope to identify a new janitorial service in the very near future. New HVAC equipment, along with new attic insulation over at Station 22. And the next phase of our station flooring project is going to begin very soon at Station 31, 108, and Station 53. Last but not least, on our community risk reduction arson investigation, we have a current vacancy. The last couple of weeks, there has been over 16 candidates that went through an interview process, and one job so far has been offered. So we hope to seal that process up here very soon and get a new arson investigator out in the field. End of report, unless you have any questions for me.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Chief. Any questions or comments for Chief Wagaman? All right, thank you. All right, moving on, we've got Firefighters Local 522 report. Good day, good evening, Captain Schollard.
Good evening. Good evening, Board of Directors, Chief Wagaman, members of the public, colleagues, packed house tonight. Thank you. I'm going to try and keep it as brief as I can. Some things that were highlighted from some of the presentations and some of the officers' reports this evening is that we have had some very productive meetings lately. It's been a very busy couple of weeks. I appreciate all the time that you guys have given us to meet, whether it's via in-person phone calls. And if anybody hasn't had communication, don't feel left out. I'll get to you soon, I promise. It's been extremely busy. A lot of great work that's been happening over the last week. As you've heard, the 25-1 Academy, so congratulations, that Academy starting. I got an invite to come out and see them on day 2 with the command staff, which was fantastic. Usually we give our union spiel at the end of things, so I didn't want to give too much of a spoiler alert because I wouldn't have anything to talk about later. But it was very good to see them and kind of a different perspective. You know, on the front end of the academy, it kind of made me reminisce about that experience that I had, and brings back a lot of great memories, as I think it did for everybody that was there. So appreciate that time. Got to go out to the Captain's Academy and give a presentation for them on some union items, HR, disciplinary stuff, things like that. Very well received. I think we have a fantastic group of candidates that are currently in that process. Congratulations to everybody that's passed the written and is moving on to the next phase. So I think that's great for our organization. Let's see. Some congratulations in order. We have some new hires. So Harman Kalam, congratulations to you. Look forward to spending some time getting to know you. I'm sure Comms is extremely excited to have some additional help there. Yes, I'm getting the thumbs up. You absolutely are needed. So congratulations to you. Welcome to the team. Jason Warner, same. I know every single division is inundated. It's not just the suppression side of things, and we value everybody here at this organization, so thank you for that. Amy Nygren, congratulations. Fire Marshal Amy Nygren, I think that's fantastic. I think it's great to see somebody come up through that division, promote through those ranks, and get to lead by example and be a role model for everybody else in the organization. Value our friendship, value the conversations and the candor, and I think you're going to do fantastic. So congratulations. This week, we also had labor management. We had to split up the team a little bit because we also had a huge pepper reform hearing down at the Capitol, some sure Director Rice is aware of. So we split up. Half of us went to labor management. Very productive meeting, great context in there. We did get to review documents. You know, it was absolutely fantastic. So I look forward to the outputs of that. You know, the downside of having meetings is typically you get a lot of additional meetings scheduled afterwards. So as I hope for things to slow down, they don't. They just keep getting busier, but it's all in good effort. So I appreciate the collaboration on that. Thank you to all of our members and all of our regional partners up and down the state for coming out to the Capitol. I think there was over 300 members that made it out to the Capitol to show support in the pepper reform that's making its way through the different channels. We had over, I think, just under 30 members from our organization, and it was a fantastic showing. So I know that that takes time away from people's families, and it's one more thing to ask for, but it's extremely important for us to try and reduce that age, reduce the exposure, reduce the injuries. I know that you've had multiple IDRs come across the dais here, and it's something that is a very, very important topic. We just ask for some additional support. If anybody has time to come out there, every single member is affected, whether you're a Pepper employee or a Classic employee. Those are our brothers and sisters, and we need to see that thing through to the finish line. One more thing that I want to highlight is some additional collaboration with the Wellness Division, and Chief Peck has been in constant communication with Captain Randall. It's kind of the point of contact from the labor side as far as wellness goes. We have a meeting scheduled May 20th, I think, to get up to speed on some information that we just received from Volunteer Fire Foundation. It's a nonprofit company that's based out of Sonoma that does glutathione therapy treatment. If you're familiar with it or not familiar with it, we've probably spent, I don't know, the 10 hours total sitting down and looking at some toxicology reports and the benefits of glutathione and the detox properties and stuff that it does offer. So it's just something to explore. I guess the moral of the story is that we're turning every stone over that we can to try and provide any kind of benefit to all members of this organization and all members of the fire service. So we want to be the leaders in everything that we do, and we're not going to leave any stone unturned that could potentially provide benefits to our members. So with that, thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Captain. It's good to hear your messages. Thank you. Any comments or questions for Captain Scholar? No? Thank you. All right, moving on. Committee and delegate reports. The executive committee has not met and has no meeting scheduled. Comm Center JPA, Deputy Chief Fiorica.
Good evening once again. The report for the Comm Center JPA Board, we last met on Tuesday, April 22nd. This was the inaugural meeting held at their new administrative annex. So it was nice to actually, for them to be able to have the board meeting in their own facility. During that meeting, the board supported staff's recommendation to approve a 3-year MOU between SRF ECC and Local 522. There's no other information to report.
Outstanding. Any comments, questions for the chief? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Policy Committee, Director Costa.
Thank you. Nothing new to report. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 8th.
Thank you. Moving on to board members' questions and comments. I'll start over to my far left with Director Jones.
Right, well, I'll give a quick Finance Committee
Yeah,
update.
Finance and
We
Oh,
met-
geez, I am sorry. I completely missed that.
That's okay, I need
Okay.
Phil. I need Phil anyway, so that's great, yeah.
We're moving through, Director.
Nicely done.
All righty, the Finance and Audit Committee met tonight, and we received a presentation for the bi-monthly fiscal report through Feb 2025. So far, so good, everything's in order, and our next meeting is May 22nd, 5:30 in these quarters. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Director Jones? No? Okay, now I'll start with you for your board member comments and questions.
Well, that was it. That was what more important than money. I mean, really. No, thank you very much. I have no comments. No further comments.
Director Rice?
Thank you, President Wood. As I was I've been here, I don't even know how long I've been here, 2 years probably, maybe a little bit more, but something has really struck me in the last couple of weeks, and look at Chief Fiorica, Chief Mitchell, Chief Green, Chief Barthel, Peck, Pittman, Chief Nygren. Am I missing Chief Wagaman, Chief House? Am I missing anybody? Chief Johnson is back there. And where I'm going with that is I took a minute to think about it, and each one of these individuals that comes before this board week in and week out, sometimes week in and week out, but some just there, they have never once had a negative comment or a connotation or anything about the members that they lead, whether it's individuals or companies. And that's a choice. And they see the good in the people that they lead and what they're doing, and I appreciate that. And I think it sets a tone, and I think it's a tone. Chief Wagaman, did I say you too? I did, okay. I appreciate that tone, and it starts at the top, and I think it bears witness that every single one of us emulates that, and so I appreciate that. On the one, and I'm having a hard time letting go of this, and that is the response to unsecured 5150 calls, and I'm going to be out over my skis on this, and I want to act as a director, and I know that I am not supposed to delve into the area of operations, but I think we need to, the proper term, order the staff to come up with a couple of options, including non-response. And the reason I say this, because I've thought about it a lot, and I was talking to a chief officer just today, and I know that they're dealing with this probably right now while we're in this session. If one of our members gets hurt or killed, we'll stop this practice immediately. Why are we waiting? And I appreciate all the work that has been done, the ring down, the depth that the administrative command staff is doing to try to never say no. But until we have armed support and trained support with our personnel on those, we should not be going to them. And that's what I would like to ask President Wood. Can we get, in the appropriate tone, something from the staff, which also includes a non-response? We didn't choose this position. It was placed before us, and this burden was placed on the men and women in the field, and it was placed even more on you all in command positions, even more so. And I feel an obligation to you that we should not put you in a position to go knock on a door at 3 a.m. to say your loved one's not coming home. And we have a chance to stop that, and we need to do that, and we need to do it as soon as possible. And that'll end my comments.
Thank you very much, Director Rice. After your impassioned comments 2 meetings ago, I'll just ask Chief Wagaman, because you're sitting in that chair, are you aware of any work that's been taken on internally to respond to the comments that were made 2 meetings ago?
Yeah, work continues on a daily basis, and I know Chief Mitchell, you could probably speak to this as well on some of the recent changes and focus the district has with respect to these types of calls.
Thank you for your comments, Director Rice and President Wood, for the opportunity, and Chief Wagaman. The work is robust and it is ongoing. We're not done. This is not a short-term thing, and we're dealing with what you're talking about, Director Rice. You're right. It was right before this meeting. I was talking with Chief Pittman, and we have a situation where we're challenged by a response of an agency. When I hear the word non-response, Director Rice, and I know we spoke about it before, our men and women in the field, once the call clears through our dispatch center and it is determined that it is a call for service, when it goes to our men and women in the field, there is processes in place that exist right now that allows them not to leave their fire station and or to evaluate further if there's not enough information to make a determination where they never actually go on scene and make physical contact. So once, and our company officers and chief officers, as I believe Director Gould had mentioned last time, our ability to make decisions is imperative, and those folks are the ones that are doing it. In addition to that, before the call ever gets to our men and women in the fire stations, or even to our dispatch center, we're working very diligently on what we're calling it's a warm handoff from either the sheriff's PSAP or law enforcement PSAP and our own dispatch center to get it over to 988 and the clinician services where our folks never even get the call for service. So there is that also. And I'm also happy to report that because of how important this is and meetings that we've had numerous times with our own folks and exterior folks, as I talked about before, that Battalion Chief, now out-of-class Assistant Chief, A Shift Commander Sean Daly is our sole point of contact and has had, already in the last couple of days of being in this role, has met numerous times with our law enforcement partners, our own dispatch, our EMS representatives to further dive in and figure out, because I will tell you, he has already uncovered some things about consistency and when we receive the calls at the initial PSAP, the public safety answering point, where the law enforcement is that, our dispatch is a secondary, where they have already discovered some processes in place that won't even allow the calls to make it to us because it's not something our men and women need to be dealing with. So it is ongoing. But I do want to be very careful with non-response because we all know, as a lot of you up there have been responding to calls for service in the public safety realm for a long time, we also go on calls that don't come out as behavioral health calls that turn into those types of situations. So in addition to what information we have when we respond, our folks can get the information while they're responding and figure out that it's something different to make that course, turn that course down a different pathway and not actually get to the scene where they're standing there in a area that their safety is in danger, and we have no armed backup, as you said. So there are multiple facets to that. I just want to be very careful and define non-response. Not going on scene physically is what I believe is what you're saying, and it's very important to determine those two differences, because not actually making physical contact on scene due to the risk is something that we are and have implemented since finding out about this that we had never done before. And as first responders, as I know a lot of you are, and myself included, it kills us to not be able to respond to the needs of the community. It hurts. I mean, my voice is starting to shake because it hurts.
Yeah.
Our folks in the community are calling, but because of what you're talking about and the importance and safety of our men and women in the field, we aren't able to actually make that contact for the first time that I'm aware of, and maybe that anybody in this room is aware of. So we have done a lot of things. Our work is ongoing, and like I said, we are not done. We will continue to push. We will be asking for your help and have asked for your help in some situations, but we are not done with it when it comes to response. But also, I think that the silver lining here is we're going to come up with new ways of providing the service to get the right resource with the right capability at the right time for our community, which means alternative destinations, clinician work, triage of calls, better relationship between the two dispatch centers, which is already happening. So there is some positive, but I hear you loud and clear, and it's something that bothers me all the time. And in fact, I just spoke with Chief Daly at that point this morning, so.
So, Chief, to the point you made earlier, that our field officers, our BCs and our captains are empowered to make those calls and make those decisions. Can you speak a little bit to how they're being trained and what messages they're getting that have got them to the point where they're capable to make those calls?
Yeah, so some of the changes, so there's the EMS piece, which is the protocol and licensure that the EMSA, the EMS agency, has oversight of. That was one of the critical first factors, because if we don't make contact with somebody, there was potential challenges to licensure for our paramedics, our men and women who hold the licensure. So we quickly worked with our LEMSA to address that and get processes in place to allow the protocols to say, here's the criteria, and I don't have them, verbatim, but it allows a process to go down and say, evaluate scene safety, all of the processes that are there, and ultimately, if it's not safe, you do not have to make patient contact on scene. You can clear the call, you document it this way. You have to have a supervisor involved, which is a captain, an EMS supervisor, a chief officer, that says, we're conversing about this, we want to make darn sure we've done everything we can to try to figure this out, and the best course forward because of the safety factors to not make contact. So that is part of what that decision process is. We also have training and instituted a process of question and answers to qualify the level of threat based off of some objective things. It's called BARS. We didn't invent it, but we brought it in to determine level of threat based off the information available. And when it reaches a certain level within that, it's a process to say objectively, threat is there. This is not warranted for an on-scene response. No on scene. Don't go on scene. Don't make physical contact. Whether that's from the fire station, via phone, via information you get from dispatch, or the spidey sense, honestly. You feel it's hairs on the back of your neck because something's not right. That's how we're doing that, to make sure we're doing our best to, one, evaluate the call from the community to make sure we're providing the service when it's appropriate, but also to not make our men and women be in a position where their safety is threatened.
Excellent. So. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Any other Director Rice?
Just, Chief, as you go through this, and I've never doubted that the work's not being done. I know you, I know the staff, I know that the work's being done, and I guess this is me probably being stubborn. I don't even want the call coming to the fire station. If the sheriffs have deemed it a non-response, why should we even get it? I would ask I would ask in a written format at the next board meeting, that process, if you can get it down in writing, we would like to see that process. And then I would like to be able to ask for a process that the call doesn't even get dispatched into a fire station. And there's a part of me, because I've been involved at a state level with CARE Court and the CARE Act in Southern California, Northern California, with the governor, with his staff. And if we need to pursue legislation that I think tripped this, then maybe that might be part of the discussion, that maybe if you would include in that process on how we got from point A to point B, we might be in a position to have a reversing effect on that. But I'm going to keep driving. My overall goal is not to go.
And you're, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm
President, go ahead.
sorry. What I hear you, and correct me if I'm wrong, is if we can come back at the next meeting with a brief presentation, something on the agenda as a presentation item that answers those questions that you want, and simultaneously, staff can evaluate whether or not they need to bring something before the policy committee, obviously working with council on that issue as well. Does that satisfy your?
Thank you, yes.
All right, that understood?
Got it.
All right.
You're alluding to the long-term process, which I'm talking about. So ultimately,
We may end up there, and we're uniquely positioned to maybe have an effect there. And maybe that's the answer to the question.
Anything further, Chief?
Thank you.
Appreciate you stepping up and doing that on the fly.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Director Rice, you were in the middle of your comments?
I'm contained, thank you.
Director Clark?
Yes, I'd like to thank all the men and women of the Metro Fire for all the hard work that they do day in and day out for the community, and especially to congratulate Chief Nygren. I've been kidding her for quite a while, calling her Chief, because I knew she would be the next fire marshal. She's well qualified, and congratulations. That's all.
Thank you, Director. Director Stark?
No comments.
Director Gould?
Okay, health and wellness, if there's a way we can kind of think a little bit about how to integrate families into this new organization that we've developed, I'd love to see some timelines on when we can expand some of the services that that group provides to the spouses, the significant others, to the men and women who do that work and is our primary focus. I just love to see us look at the families and extend beyond those folks, because they have to deal with them when they come home. So I'd love to do that. In addition to that, I'd like to do my annual call out for somebody that's got deep pockets to sponsor all 80 of those young people that are going to come to fire camp. There's got to be somebody in this community that can write the check and have all those children go, and particularly those young people who can't afford it. I'd love to see that happen. That'd be really wonderful. I'm 1,000% right behind Brian in this focus of this safety issue. Ironically, Chief Mitchell mentioned it kills us not to go. I'm going to flip that. It could kill us if we went. And that's not tolerable to me in any way, shape, or form. So whatever we've got to do aggressively and quickly to get this circumstance addressed, I think we need to do it. I understand the long game. I'm more worried about the short game that's happening right now as men and women are going out into situations that could turn ugly quickly. I'm glad to hear that we continue to have faith in our staff that can make incredibly good decisions. So I support the idea of, it's great that we want to have a long game plan, but I'm very concerned about every single dispatch that has a potential for that to go wrong. And we need to make sure. And then I just asked the question of, how much are we discussing this with our community? Are we trying to keep this below the radar so that we can work out those details? Or is at some point we want to let the community know that this is where we're at? Because I'm sure there's families that are stressing out about what they're going to do as they manage those that are unfortunate to have challenges with their mental health. What are we doing for those folks? Because I think they'll be scared to death if we don't come.
So I would just hope that we kind of expand this beyond. I know we've had a lot of internal conversations, and that's okay. But what are we doing to make our community aware of it? I would hate to be on the phone calling for help because a family member is suffering from this horrendous illness and no one's coming to help. That's really not okay with me. So whatever we got to do, however we got to do it, I have full faith, like Brian does, that we've got great people involved. But if we've got to make an edict to the community so that we can get their support to change some things, I'm ready to do that in 2 weeks too, because this is just intolerable. It really is. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Director. Director Sailors?
No comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Costa?
No comment.
All right. I just have a couple of things. I'll echo what's already been said. Welcome to the new hires. It's great to see some fresh faces. Congratulations. Chief Nygren, Fire Marshal Nygren, I've enjoyed working with you over the years. And like has already been said, I can't think of a better person in that role, so thank you. Just want to thank the Drakes in the barn in West Sac. We had a great fundraiser, the cornhole tournament out there for the Burn Institute this last week. And it is summer, which means we do have their big fundraiser, the Luau on the Green coming up. It's usually in June, but they moved it to May 31st to get outside of people's vacations and the heat. So there's no excuse for anyone. May 31st, it's a week after Memorial Day. The only one who can be excused is me because I've already planned my trip based on the usual date of it being in June. So it's the first time in 13 years I won't be there, and I'm very disappointed. I'll miss it. But it is a wonderful event, whether you can volunteer. They do need volunteers, so whether you volunteer or you pay to go, it's a great event, a lot of fun. They have some amazing dancers and fire acrobat people. Yeah, it's a phenomenal show they put on out there. The food is really good as well. So ffburn.org is the Burn Institute's website. Tickets can be purchased through there. Contacts can be made to reach out as well. Beyond that, appreciate everything and look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks and not after we get back from closed session. So we'll adjourn for closed session.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Closed session, Council Lavra, would you please report out?
Yes, so thank you, Director Wood. The board met in closed session this evening on the two items listed on the closed session agenda. Item number one, the board met pursuant to Government Code 54957A for consultation with District Council and their cybersecurity manager. No action was taken as a result of that matter. Item number two was conference with legal counsel regarding a claim against the district pursuant to Government Code Section 910, Brandy Scott versus Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. The board voted unanimously to deny the claim and turn the claim over to the district's liability pool for defense and further handling. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. We stand adjourned. We'll see you all at the next meeting. Thank you.
Recording stopped.